Hello, everyone. Yes, we are back. That's right. You just got to see Larry Sharp having a very interesting conversation with Unjected, and I think that went very well. But we are very busy in the last day 4 of our coverage and of the event, FreedomFest 2024 in Las Vegas. And we have a great opportunity. We've been trying to track him down. He's been trying to track me down. We're back together after 2019, 2020. That's right. We're back with one of our favorite guests, Maj Toure. How are you doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
It has been a very busy event. We've had several thousand, I believe 4,000 or 5,000 people at least here in Las Vegas. I know you've had several events. Matter of fact, day 1, you were part of a panel. I know you're about to be later today, and you'll be getting this coverage in a panel with Dr. Cornel West, Larry Sharp, you, which I don't even know what you guys are going to talk about, but I just got to see that. Tell me, it's been a whirlwind for you, man. And we've been together tracking it kind of all the way through, but what's going on?
The Solutionary Center, fundraising, classes, stop the bleed classes, firearm safety classes, conflict resolution, catching a firearms charge, having guns pointed at me, traveling. This has been an abundance of, interesting things to say the least over the last couple of years, and I wouldn't change it. These are the things that structure us in a better way if we take heed to those lessons and really tap in. And so, doing the work, we crossed over the $700,000 raised and given away mark. We only have about $200,000 left to raise to buy our building over in Philadelphia, the Solutionary Center, and that keeps those classes free to all. So, the last leg of the fundraising, you know how you drive in somewhere for 5 hours and the first 4.5 hours breeze by, and that last half hour is
gotta get there.
And it's like it seems like it's 2 more hours, but this is that grit. This is where that grit and that determination really kicks in, and we get over the finish line.
Now, a lot of people may not be as familiar. Hopefully, a lot of people know this, but some people may not know that you're building a community center. You're building infrastructure in Philadelphia, and well, tell them why you're doing it.
When we started with BGM, it was very important to make sure that we linked with people from different cities to make sure that the work got done of firearm safety and training. And then when we leave, that community is connected with rangers and instructors and lawyers from that area. That was great, and we started doing that for about 3 years on that tour. And the first year that we did it only in Philadelphia, violent crime decreased. Licenses to carry increased. And when we started doing more around the country, gun ownership increased, violent crime increased. But then when we ignored Philly for a while, violent crime started to creep up again. So we wanted to have Philadelphia be a flagship location where people can come, they know they can learn, but we can still do the classes in other places, in other cities. But at the same time, we aren't compromising or sacrificing the education that's needed in our HQ, our main city, while doing the work around the country. So we made this center so people can come teach whatever the skill or trade that they want to learn, or teach that they know they're aware of and skilled in. If they want to use the space for free, they can. If someone wants to come learn that class or whatever skill that person is teaching, plumbing, phlebotomy, whatever, they get to come take informative classes in these locations for free. So that's been our business model as it relates to crowdfunding. Obviously, we have the merch, we have the t-shirts, but getting that financial barrier to entry removed, and now going, okay, now we have an HQ, now let's show a social and cultural benefit, and then let's do that in a different city. So we used Philadelphia, which was the first Black Guns Matter location or event, and now the Solutionary Center in Philadelphia that's the HQ, and we would like to see those over the next few years in all of these, top 10 major cities. So we got to use Philadelphia as kind of like the litmus test, and
proof of concept.
Proof of concept, and it's been going very, very well. I mean, we've gotten people jobs literally because phlebotomy, drawing blood, we can certify people. Well, not myself, but the nurses and
the process,
right. And so people have hit us back and emailed that, I secured a job, $40,000-$50,000 a year, doing phlebotomy. And so saying this to say these are just different opportunities. And it doesn't even have to just be employment. It can be something as simple as, hey, I want to take a yoga class. And people have came and took yoga and did all of these different things. But that's what a community center is supposed to
I
be.
was about to say that.
Right.
That's the whole idea of a community center.
Community, like people
Yeah.
working together for a
All the
multitude of
different
things.
aspects
Right,
to try and push everyone forward.
Right. And so fundraising has been, it's that last 30 minutes of the drive. This last $200,000 has been very, very difficult. We're trying to package it now where we're saying, hey, we need 2,000 people to just donate $100.
Which ain't much.
Right, right.
You
You know
would
what I'm
think
saying?
that's pretty easy. Not a lot
Right.
of people, not a lot of money.
Right, right.
And so, you get over the hump. Because, I mean, the last 200, you've got 500,000 already raised. That's the
Yeah,
goal.
we've raised it and gave it away, and initially that wasn't the goal. The first goal when we started, our goal
it was way lower.
It was $25,000.
Yeah,
we said
yeah.
we're going to do 13 cities, and we did it. And I was like, okay, we did it, guys. And people started emailing like, yo, bro, you can't just stop. You have to keep going. And I was like, all right. And we would just jump to social media and ask. We would say, hey, what do you think the new fundraising goal should be, and what number?
I remember it on the podcast
Yep.
when you were doing the podcast, and you go, hey, and the people would contact
Right.
you and say,
Right.
oh, well, do this,
Right.
which
Right.
is the best way.
Right.
But it's hard because I know you've been suffering a lot of,
Yeah.
let's call it suppression,
Yeah,
diverting attention from you,
yeah,
because there aren't a lot of voices out there. Matter of fact, you're the voice talking about getting firearm training, responsible ownership into the inner city.
right, right.
No one's really talking about
Right.
that except you, and then they don't like to have you talking
Right,
about
right.
it. So that's got to be a toll.
It's actually a badge of honor. It is a toll, but again, adversity introduces a dude to who he is. So them, and it's smart. If I was on their team, I would do the same thing.
True.
It makes sense to not don't stand too close to me if you're lying. And if you're lying to the people, we can't put him on. He's going to destroy our narrative. So I get it. Even down to being kicked off of social media 4 times. Instagram, Twitter. These are things that are they say if you want to know a man, you can judge him by his enemies. So if my enemies are people that are trying to suppress free speech and benefiting our communities, then that means I'm doing something right. The drawback to that, or the added difficulty, I'll say, is it does slow down the message a bit. Because social media is an impactful and very powerful tool. That's the reason why they suppress it so much.
Yes.
And so just re-galvanizing and getting that word out to let people know, like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we serve folks. We've, stretched out. We're doing TikTok. We've stretched out a bit. We have a solutionary Telegram group where you do the Solutionary 9. It's a free group. We get people on health and fitness, political understanding, civics, all of those different concepts that make you a well-rounded solutionary. And so we just adapt. I'm in no way, shape, or form. They say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. It isn't that the weapons wouldn't be formed. They're going to form them.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I'm
you
saying?
will be beyond that.
Right.
It's like trying to kill an idea.
Right.
You can't kill an idea. You can't kill a religion.
It's too resilient.
Yeah.
And so our job is to recognize the resiliency from it and just continue to ask the people, go over to givesingo.com/solutionary support. Give what you can. If there's 2,000 people that donate $100, we buy the building. Now, and those classes are free, at least in that one location. We need to have one location that people from wherever they want, if they want to fly in and utilize the space, they can. If they're in Jersey, they're in Philadelphia, they're in Maryland, they want to drive up and utilize the space, they can. We do this in one location. We continue to show the strength of it without, again, that financial barrier to entry. Then we make it viable financially from a retail perspective. Now we get other investors to go, okay, we can do this. Hey, we're interested, Home Depot, whoever. Hey, we like this concept. We'll help you do one in Chicago. We'll help you do one in Detroit. We'll help you do one here and there.
And expand and copy.
Right.
Copy, paste,
Exactly.
everywhere.
Exactly.
Let's talk about, I should got some time. By the way, he makes me look so small. In 2019, we were the same size-ish.
Yeah.
So jealous. And you are one of the more popular interviews that I've done. People love to go back and refer to it, so it's great.
Yeah.
But looking at today,
Yeah.
with Dr. Cornell West, you've been doing a lot of events. CPAC, Freedom Fest. You've done these multiple times. You've been on the main stage multiple times. People would, give an arm and a leg to do this. Even with the media trying to hold you back, you're still getting top-tier interviews and events that you're doing. So how does that play into being able to speak with Dr. Cornel West, talking with Larry on the main stage here?
I know that most of the people that are ideologically opposed to us have bad information. And I don't mean people that are trying to manipulate the general public. I know that the general public has been fed a steady diet of trash. I don't allow that to create division. If you happen to be a Democrat, I was at a certain point. So I go, okay, I know the information that I was missing at that time. If then I gravitated towards Republican, was a Republican for years, and then you continue to evolve. I'm not going to have a negative judgment of the person because of where they currently land or where they are. All I go is, will I present this information to you? Will you receive it? And if so, maybe you'll evolve at a different point. And if you don't, cool. We still are Americans and humans, and I'm still going to engage with you. So someone would say, oh, how could you do a sit down with Dr. Cornel West? Well, because I think Dr. Cornel West in certain areas, I think he's brilliant. He's a scholar.
Absolutely.
He's a scholar.
Absolutely.
And so me allowing some issues that we may not agree on fully to not have that conversation or to not or to be adversarial to another American is just silly. So I'm able to exist in spaces because when I go to CPAC, I know that the crossover between limited government conservative values and libertarian limited government values are essentially the same.
Yes.
Now, whether the pundits online are highlighting that, it can be a different thing. But, I go into a CPAC and say, hey, you guys should be talking more about Frederick Douglass, who's the Hall of Fame top tier.
I love that. I love that presentation.
Yeah.
And you did it on speed.
Right.
You
Boom.
were speed running.
Boom.
Yeah.
And right before President Trump came.
Yeah.
And so the goal is to just make sure that everybody can get new information in their lane without judging them for their lane. That's where they currently are. We have all been in the space. I thought guns were only for bad people at a certain time in my life because that's what I was conditioned to believe. And if I know that there's an outside unseen hand presenting people with that information, I'm not going to allow that unseen hand to create more division between us. And so that's just how I approach it.
No, I understand because a lot of people should think of it, I like to say, your friends.
Yeah.
You have your friends. Is every one of your friends agreeing with you 100% on every one of your issues?
Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Do they like everything you like exactly the way you like it? Of course not. So then why, when you have a conversation about politics that affect all of our lives, these issues, our rights and freedoms that affect each and every one of us, why do you expect everyone else you talk to have exactly the same idea and thought that you do?
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
It's right. It's
Of course I'll
100%
listen to
right.
Dr. Cornel West. I love the man. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a wonderful example of some of the things you can do.
Yeah.
He's got issues though.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Tell
Tell
me
me what is some of the things that you would disagree with Dr. Cornel West?
He's far too socialist in his ideology.
Yeah.
And mind you, I've lived in Moscow in '91 under the Soviet rule, the socialist rule.
Yeah.
I've seen the outcome of 75 years of that for a year and a half. Not a week,
Right,
not
right,
a weekend,
right.
but I was there for a year and a half, living day by day, learning Russian as well. Yes, I know my Russian's very rusty, but I still got it.
Right.
And so I see that end result. I talk to the people living through it, and then I have my experience. So I disagree. Most everyone who tells you socialism is a viable idea haven't lived in a socialist environment.
Yeah, they got you got your computer, you got your iPhone. Socialism, communism is the way. As you do free market enterprise stuff all day, it can be a serious contradiction. I'm interested to see what the pushback, because the conversation is about freedom and defining what that freedom is and freedom by force. That's what the conversation will be today. I'm interested what his approach will be today. I personally am going to listen to the areas that I agree with him on, but I think that it's very important to, because no one can deny Dr. Cornel West's passion for the people.
Oh, absolutely.
No one can deny that. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to give some pushback and some challenges in certain areas just because I think the people need to see that struggling around ideas. When we're sculpting something beautiful, it's a struggle. You got to sweat, you got to sculpt, you got to carve. And so I'm interested in carving that conversation out, especially being a younger man. Obviously, I'm younger than Dr. Cornell West, but I think that's necessary. And then we shake hands, take some selfies, and we're still Americans trying to get to this place of freedom.
We're exchanging the ideas passionately,
Right.
And the ones that we can accept, we do. The ones we can learn from, we learn from, and the ones we can't, okay, maybe someone else will.
Right.
That's why I'm so happy to see each of you up there.
Yeah.
Us, and while I'm not into the whole DEI thing, you know that.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said to have 3 black men of 3 different age groups, 3 different political ideologies and aspects and goals up on that stage all at the same time. And we're going to show it to everyone out there. You never know who you inspire. A great quote came from Michael Jordan when he said, well, he was asked once back in the day when he was still playing, he always walked outside. You never saw Michael in anything but a suit, ever. He was asked that one time on ESPN. His answer was very simple. He says, when I walk out that door, I don't know who's on the other side. Maybe there's that 3-5-year-old kid walking with their parent to or from someplace just because I'm in a hotel playing golf. But that kid suddenly sees me for the first time, live.
Yeah.
What's that kid going to think?
Right. How can I inspire them to aspire to be greater?
And now he sees it for that.
And know that you have those options.
That's it. And maybe it's the only time in life.
Yeah.
But we get inspiration like that.
Absolutely.
And so that's part of the reason why I'm very excited about, obviously, the event, but also you guys speaking today.
Yeah.
There is that aspect in the background.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
We don't have, see, you can talk about inspiring people without having to be all DISG about it.
Right,
you know?
right. Like, come on, y'all. We can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. Like come on, y'all. Right.
Oh, good. Wow, we are running, we're flying.
Yeah.
See, because we talk.
It's just a conversation.
People don't realize we talk.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, but we talk, and so it flies when we do these things. So we've looked a little bit about, well, let's talk about FreedomFest.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to also bring up.
Yeah.
You're an ambassador.
Yeah.
How is that?
I actually bugged them. Not that they were saying, oh, no. I just was like, hey. And Larry was like, yo, you should do this. And I was like, hey, what do y'all think? And I think it's been great having different, I got my camera guys, we're running around getting yoga. We're running around asking, Robert Kiyosaki, we're asking Ice-T, we're asking all of these different questions.
You got to speak to Ice-T?
Yeah, we was interviewing him.
I was about as close as I am to you taking photos, but I couldn't get to, speak to him.
Yeah, we chopped it up, back there. We chopped it up in the green room. Then we got, I got to interview him at the book signing, and it went great. The beauty of FreedomFest, my job as an ambassador, is to make sure, and I'm not saying this in a way to slight FreedomFest. I'm saying in the sense of, I see that my skill set is personally developed to make urban demographics next year be at FreedomFest. But I knew this year I needed to showcase the diversity of thought that's there. Now we got to get diverse, and not DEI, but we do need a visual representation of that diversity of thought in the different, the hues of what America looks like, right? America's white folks, black folks, Spanish folks, Asian folks, all of this. And I know that urban demographics have all of that salad, all those different type of vegetables in that salad bowl. And
even more than most other places.
Right. Yeah. And so having that salad visual difference of representation, those folks need to be brought into FreedomFest because they can be exposed to this liberty concept. So I'm an ambassador this year, really, to kind of like make sure that we're getting content and interviews to push back against the false narrative that some on the extreme left push, that, if you come to FreedomFest, this is an extreme right-wing racist thing. And it's obviously not, but FreedomFest needs to make sure, or my job is to make sure that, or what I've taken on as the role, is to make sure that FreedomFest has a good visual representation of the fun that it is, of the diversity that it is, and the ideologies that it is. So when that's over the next year, we're on our platforms, sharing with our respective communities that this is what this is actually about. And so
And you're welcome. And you're,
Right,
which is,
right.
I think that's the biggest thing a lot of people in urban environments, people who are not able to go to these kind of events, like sometimes we forget because we do this a lot.
yeah,
So we're used to it. But
Right.
for a lot of people, this is the first time they're seeing it, and they think, wait a minute, but Maj is there,
Right.
Larry's there, Mike's there. I'm
like did you see the promo, like the poster for Freedom Fest this year?
Yeah,
Ice T's
yeah.
on it. I'm on it. Like it's and it's not a forced, like, look, we have some of
No,
these.
these are just some
These
of
are
the
just
people
some of the
here.
people that's here,
Yeah.
right? And so that's really what my agenda. Because I reached out to the team at Freedom Fest. Huge shouts to Valerie. Huge shouts to Matt. Huge shouts to everybody at the staff. And they were like, cool, Maj, go ahead, do your thing. And having that creative license to execute the vision in a way that they would trust. Because that's a brand. That's a brand. And so, and then saying, yeah, and we also want you to be on the stage with, Dr. Parnell West and the great Larry Sharp. And we want to put you on the main stage on a Saturday at noon when everybody's here. And these are very, very serious moves, and very, very, these moves need to be appreciated, and they are by me, but also respected by the general public, because a lot of organizations don't do that. They say we want diversity of thought, we want,
And they're like, but
Right,
but you can't be in the
but,
middle.
but not too much of that,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's in essence what my job will be and is, and I'm having a great time doing it this year at Freedom Fest.
Well, that's good. Now, always whenever we speak, and one problem, one day, they could never put you and me on a stage and we're talking about guns.
Yeah.
But there's very little we disagree on, and everyone else is going to get real losing in the weeds because it's like, no, but we know it.
Right.
We really,
Right.
really know this.
Right.
But one of these days, we're going to get on stage. We got to get on stage.
Let's do it.
But I don't know if you've heard about this. There's a bill I want to make you aware of, HR 3018.
Okay, what's that do?
I forget the exact name of it. It's another national red flag law. And I abhor red flag laws.
You know what's so crazy? I'm usually up on bills, right? And
This one they snuck in
they snuck
last month.
and either the sneak, or it's so many of them that are so unconstitutional that they start to blur. Because it's like, listen, the Fourth Amendment is a thing. No unreasonable searches and seizures. No, I don't consent. Get me the jury of my peers. Get me my due process. We have this blueprint. We have this answer. What state is that? Or is this national?
No, that's Congress. That's
Okay,
national.
okay.
157 Democrats, no Republicans. And they put it out June 26th. No fanfare on it. But they're trying to move it.
Sneaky.
And see, and this is why we network. This is
Yeah.
why we talk.
Yeah.
Because no one person can follow all of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go, hey, by the way, I just heard about that. When I'm covering it, there might be a bill you've seen
Right.
or some other movement. It's how we make sure
Right.
we keep our freedom.
100%. There's Spike Cohen does a great thing called Cyberbully the Government, where he in essence is saying, when we find out about these bills, get on them phones, get on the internet, and really cyberbully the government, because they're there to work for you. They got the game twisted. So to that point of, now I have to go do research on this bill. I have to communicate, create content on it. I have to let my following know about it. We have to pass it off to everybody, and because a lot of times those public servants, they don't want that exposure of that sunlight.
No, that's how they get through.
Right.
Is no one's talked
And
about
when
it.
that sunlight popped through, they like, hey, we can't do this one, guys. And so it's very, very important to your point.
So I did want to share that, and of course, people know I'm still doing even more research on it. It ain't gonna pass.
Yeah.
No national red flag laws.
None.
No red flag laws. Period. So we've got just a minute or two here left. Obviously, we've been talking about the solutionaries. We've been talking about you. We've been talking about Freedom Fest.
Yeah.
You know, I always end all of my interviews with, "Hey, is there something we didn't cover?"
Yeah.
God knows we cover a lot.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you want to share that we haven't got to?
Everybody be kind to each other. I mean, it seems like a blur so long ago now, but in 2020, there was a global conspiracy to make you like fail, to like crush your business, for you to kill yourself, and so many metaphorically, in some cases, literally. Just reminding everybody to be kind to each other. They tried to. They told you were crazy. They told you that you were a granny killer, and all of these different things. They told you to slow down your business. So just be mindful of that. You survived that. Find people that are doing the work locally, on the state level, city level, whatever, and obviously on the national. But we have way more influence on the local level. So that and to be kind to each other, because you survived one of the biggest psychological operations of world history. And lastly, obviously, guys, if you pulled any value from this conversation today, please support the work. If you can give it the $100 level, do so. We need like it's 1,967 more people at the $100 level.
So it's dropping
even lower, right?
Good.
So if 1,967 folks can donate $100, we will buy this building and all of these classes, every single one of them. No one that's came to an in-person class of ours has paid a dime because of voluntary donations, and that voluntarism and this voluntary association is a part of. We don't want to ask for your tax dollars because it's not our money. It's not Republican, Democrat. It's not our money. And so Libertarian, Independent, Green Party, doesn't matter. It's not our money. So we do this based on people that want to say, hey, we like what you're doing with Black Guns Matter and safe responsible firearms ownership. We like what you're doing with the Solutionary Center. We would like to see these in different cities. If you can be one of those next 1,967 folks to donate at the $100 level, please do so. And if you can't, sign up to be a $5 a month recurring donor. And that's at givesendgo.com/solutionary.
That was perfect. Folks, I think we've had it. We always.
Always.
So, folks, don't forget, you're going to come back about 12:30. You're going to see Maj. You're going to see Dr. Cornell West. You're going to see Larry Sharp. Obviously, you want to follow Maj all the way. Every time he's doing something, you want to help him with Philadelphia because it helps all of us. I always enjoy having you on. I always enjoy speaking with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.
And